What's up everyone, and welcome to another episode of Forgotten Classics, where we take a look at older games that were once praised at being the best of their generation, but have been forgotten as the years have passed. Today we're going to be looking at Jet Force Gemini, a game developed by Rare and released on the N64 in 1999. In the late 90s and early noughties, Rare was considered one of the best games developers in the world. It seemed every game that was churned out from the studio was an instant classic, ranging from FPS legends GoldenEye and Perfect Dark to platformers such as Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, among many others. When you ask gamers what their favourite games of the era were, it's almost guaranteed that at least one Rare title will be among them, with 4 of their titles being among the top 10 best-selling games on the N64. However, Jet Force Gemini is often overlooked or even forgotten. The game revolves around 3 characters, twins Juno and Vela and their dog Lupus, who form the Jet Force. They're ultimately fighting against Mizar, a warlord intent on taking over the galaxy, leading his drone army, the ant-headed enemies that populate the game's worlds. After being attacked at the start of the game, the trio are separated and have to fight their way through various worlds in order to stop Mizar's invasion of the planet Goldwood. At its core, Jet Force Gemini is an action-adventure game, revolving around third-person shooting and platforming elements. There are multiple worlds to play through, each with a series of stages that you need to shoot your way through, solve puzzles, and attain various upgrades and collectibles. The weaponry ranges from basic items like pistols and machine guns to flamethrowers and rocket launchers, among many others. All of the guns cause your unwitting enemies to reach rather gory endings. Each of the 3 playable characters have different abilities. Juno can walk through lava, Vela can swim underwater indefinitely, and Lupus can hover in the air. As each character makes their way through the story, levels can be revisited by others in order to take alternative pathways to reach new stages. This was necessary, as in order to reach the latter stages of the game, you had to rescue the local tribals, the bear-like populace of the planet. Alternatively, you could just shoot them and collect their heads to unlock more side content in the game. Of course, I never did that. The game received excellent praise and was given a number of high marks by various editorials. The sounds of the game, varying between intense music sequences and chilled atmospheric echoes of the various stages, coupled with the graphics, fairly detailed for the time, garnered the most attention. The complexity of the stages, requiring multiple playthroughs with different characters in order to reach hidden stages, was seen as a nod to older 16-bit titles such as Super Metroid and created a cult following of the game. The game sold 1.1 million copies, a decent amount for a game of that era, but not close to the big hitters from the studio. There was supposedly a Game Boy version of the franchise in early production, but it never gained any traction or had any official announcements. A sequel has never been suggested, and 20 years later the game is often only talked about by small pockets of N64 generation fans. Following Microsoft's purchase of Rare in 2002, a lot changed with the studio, however eventually it did lead to a reappearance of the Jet Force crew. In 2015, the Rare Replay compilation was released on Xbox One, and Jet Force Gemini was among the 30 titles on the game. This was the last official point of note of the game, and anything further for the franchise is unlikely. I say official. In April of this year, Chameleon Games, a studio made up from former developers from that golden era of Rare, have announced Tamarin. While at first look, the closest resemblance to Jet Force Gemini are the ant-headed enemies of old. Some have tagged it as a spiritual successor, due to the Metroidvania elements of the game and of course those behind its development. Will it live up to the classic from 20 years ago? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching everyone, and as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Did you play this game? Was it one of your favourites? Or did you live through the N64 era and totally miss it? Take care, and I'll see you next time.